Hello, 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 everyone, and good after evening noon. We are at week 11. Let's get started. We're going to have our quote of the week, as you can see from the agenda. It's going to kind of set the tone, okay? If you haven't completed your survey, again, our goal is 100% participation. I don't know your individual marks, but I do know like if you hadn't done it yet, so I'm gonna allot 5 minutes again this evening to complete the survey. And then we'll go Kahoot survey time, which is like our 5 minute break. Quizlet, we're going to do a couple games of Quizlet and then wrap it up so that you guys can kind of relax and get prepared for the final exam. With that, our quote of the week. Yesterday, I dared to struggle. Today, I dared to win. As you all prepare to move from Module 2 into Module 3, I just wanted to share this quote that actually has inspired so many individuals, including those on the path to really achieving what it is they want out of life. And it means that every challenge you faced, it does not matter if it was conquering chapter 1, the surgical tech, okay? Mastering a new skill, which you're going to be doing pretty soon, overcoming a tough exam. Maybe the last midterms was really tough for you. Or it could be just balancing everything else in your life. Because sometimes, let's keep it real, life is lifing. But the thing is, you dared to struggle, and that struggle has actually helped you grow. Now, as you all move forward into Module 3, I encourage you to carry that same spirit of courage and determination. You've already shown that you're capable of overcoming obstacles. But what I want you to do is trust in your abilities, stay focused, and keep pushing forward. Now, the success that you have been striving for is actually within reach. Dare to believe in yourselves and dare to win. No matter what you've accomplished, you showed up. I believe in each and every single one of you and the incredible potential you have to succeed. But it has to be more than what I believe. You have to believe in it as well. So let's keep moving forward, one step at a time. We've got this week left, and you've got this. With that, I do have to do the modular date reminders. The last day is 21 June, which is Saturday at 11:59 p.m. That means try to make sure to allot enough time for this final exam. Write it in your schedule. You don't want to try to take the exam Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, because you don't know what could happen. If at all possible, try to set a lot enough time so that you are able to kind of take your time, get yourself together, breathe, and then knock out that final exam. Okay. If at all possible, I know lives, okay? But if you can, I highly suggest. And then for those of you who are watching the archive, you've got to get that post and peer post in before Saturday because at 11:59 everything is going to be locked. And then in order for me to try to do anything before, we have to talk to the program director and it's a whole 9 yards. So the goal is to get everything completed, knocked out of the way so that the only thing you have to do is maybe an ST theory final or a 210 final, or I'm not sure what the other class you guys have. I don't know if it's math, but you have time to kind of knock those out and then enjoy your 2 week break. Keep in mind, I have already started grading your professionalisms from weeks 1 through 10. The only thing that I'll be waiting on is your final. And then if those of you who aren't here this evening and you're watching this archive, I'll be waiting to complete yours so that I can put in your discussion forum score. Okay. But I've already started, which means that I am going by what I see. So if there's something that's not there, I'm just merely marking it. All right. Now, the question I see, when are final grades posted? The final grades are going to be our grades are due. Great question, by the way. Our grades are due by Tuesday. So all of our final grading has to be done right after y'all's finals. And they do that because of the fact that there's so many courses. And so we're going to be going through each one of them. So by Tuesday, usually by Monday, Mrs. Shrims is really good because we try to get our grades in before that so she can review them and then she'll let us post our final grade. Okay. But usually by Tuesday, the latest I've seen them is Wednesday on some rare occasions, but usually by Tuesday, you will have your final grades as long as everyone in your class has done everything that we need to get done. And ST, not to brag about us, but you guys are usually on point. So you guys make our lives a lot easier because once you knock out everything, it makes it easier for us to go through because we have to go through everything from week 1 through week 11 just to make sure we didn't miss anything. So great question. Okay. Kahoot. Let's get into it. So for this Kahoot, there are 15 questions. Okay. I am going to, of course, share this with y'all. I'm going to put it in the chat. Now, if you are not able to join, you guys know you can go ahead and just click, type in what you think the score or the answer is, blue, red, green, square, circle in the chat, and I'll actually see it. Okay. So here is, for those of you who cannot maybe get to the link, let's do it this way. And then you would simply type in 410-4139. Or if you have the Kahoot app, then you can go into that and then type in 410-4139. Okay. Again, this is going to be in the archive section, like I've been putting all of the Kahoots or Quizlets that we do. So it's easier access and you're able to kind of go straight to them. All right. I'm looking in the chat to see if there's anyone. If you do not have your camera, just make sure you send me a message. Otherwise, I will have to ask you to do the discussion forum. Okay, so if you don't have your camera on, just send me a message. It's the easiest way to do it. And then with 18, if you are not able to join for whatever reason, you're at work, again, just let me know. You don't have to do it in the chat. You can just message me, and then I can kind of take care of that way as well. And I really appreciate that. Okay, so I have 18, so I know at least 10 more people if you can join. If not, if you're driving, thank you for letting me know. Do not drive and text. Give it a couple more seconds and then we'll go ahead and start. And then everyone who is not in, just go ahead and type in blue, red, green, yellow, square, whatever is convenient for you. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and start. Is it just me or did my whole computer just go away? Give me a second. Not really sure what happened there. 1 second, guys. Been having technical difficulties. 1 second. So I hear it, but I don't see it. So I'm a little confused. Do you guys see the game? I'm freaking out. You guys can see the game. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Of course, this would happen on our last live session of theory. Give me 1 second. Let me restart my computer really quick. Not my computer, but my game really quick. Give me 1 second because that was really, don't worry, because something really weird just happened. Like it's showing that I could hear it, but I can't see it. And that's really freaking me out a little bit. 1 second, guys. And this is how we go with the flow. Things happen. So it'll be a new game. All right. So it will be a new game. Let me. Gotta love it. It's like as soon as I went live, when I went large, instead of doing what it was supposed to be doing, it did something crazy. But no worries, we're back. Okay, so here we are again. 586-8430. 586-8430. And this time I'm not going to let it go large because I'm thinking that's what happened last time. When it goes large, it gets all crazy. Okay, we're at seven, at least two more. I know there's like five that are driving, working, or at work. So I do not want you guys texting and driving. And if you're at work, I totally get it. Okay, let's start. There we go. Non-sterile gloves and contaminated items. We're not going to try to have any of that stuff on our sterile field. Okay. Now, we do want sterile gloves and our sterile instruments on our field. So we look at the psychological needs, okay? You may see different concepts asked on this one, but this is going to be the one that's going to be really important in our settings. Okay, follow grounding, use proper insulation, and check regularly. This is gonna all go back to patient safety. And then it'll like once we get into module 3 and you guys get into module 4 in the clinical setting, it's all gonna, I'm telling you, it's gonna be like a light bulb. But follow grounding, use proper insulation, and check regularly. Okay. The one, so I've seen avoid using equipment near water sources. So this one's a little tricky because once you get into the actual operating room, there are certain surgical procedures where we're literally putting our instruments into certain fluids. For example, when we do knee arthroscopies, we're creating incisions and to kind of add space so we can kind of get into the joint, we're actually using fluids to get in there. So that one would be kind of tricky. Now, normally you're not going to want like the actual electrical cord and stuff because you don't want the patient electrocuted. But in this one, again, it's going back to safety and how we use different instruments in the operating room. And I wanted to grab these types because there could be two correct answers, as you can see. Like one's just more correct, if that makes sense. That's correct. Fear and anxiety, it really can affect them in a lot of different ways. So the keyword is in the actual operating room. That's going to be big. In the OR. X-rays, fluoroscopy, and CT scans. These can kind of come into the operating room with MRI, electrical magnetic fields. These are not going to be something that we're going to bring into the operating room. These are going to be where the patient goes to either before or after, and then they come to us. Remember, if you're watching, you can still type in your answers on the chat or in the chat. Burns and tissue damage. Good job, everybody. So this is going to be key. A lot of this is going to be from the surgeon's preference card. Again, this is the holy grail for surgical technology when we're setting up cases, but we're using specific antiseptic solutions to clean the area based on the surgeon's preference card. That's the other caveat that you're going to start hearing once you get into module 3. So we're taking it to the next level. Exactly. Ensure patient understanding and confirm consent capacity. First thing we're going to always do is report it immediately, wash our hands, and then seek medical care. Okay. I tried to use AI for this one. I don't know how it did. So it's pretty much everything, right? Pandemics, natural disasters, and mass casualty events. So it's kind of like everything. So there's a couple disclaimers in here. We're gonna knock out blue because it says only, right? And then green, we're gonna knock it out because it's never used in neuro. And then number four, infrared lasers used only in dermatology. So there's those trigger words that we can kind of eliminate. So when we see only and never, those are gonna be things that we're like, haha, most likely not true. Okay. You guys are doing well. Applied topically for certain procedures. Okay. So we're talking about radiopaque contrast medium. That's okay. This is why we're here. And again, you guys will get this Quizlet or this Kahoot as well as the Quizlet. So sodium and potassium, or Na and K. Good job. Think about what we're going to be doing. It's kind of like our goal day in and day out. We're going to be focusing on maintaining the sterile field. Now, a lot of times when you're a floater, you may be asked to do certain things. You may be asked to do the compressions. You may be asked to go get the crash cart. But usually when you're sterile, like you're that first scrub, you notice something, you notice that they're getting ready to do CPR. You remove things from the field and keep it sterile. Okay. And 15 of 15, our last question. Again, here it is with that sterile environment, making sure that our equipment functions properly. Good job, everybody. Good job. Good job. All right. So, for those of you that have already taken the survey, you've completed out for ST300, go ahead and take a break. For those of you who have not, I highly encourage you to let your voice be heard. So, I just put in the link to the survey. I'm going to put up the timer, and then when we come back, we'll have our Quizlet, which is about 147 terms. We're not going to go through all of them. We'll do one good quick game of 18 just to kind of let you see some of the concepts that you may see coming up, and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay. But for those of you who have not had the opportunity to take the survey, complete it, here is your opportunity. Everyone else, be back in 5. All right, we're getting ready to come down to the last 10 seconds. And as that's winding down, I want to kind of turn it over to you guys before we get into our Quizlet, because the Quizlet is going to be a good review of everything from week 1 to week 10. Okay. So, what concepts in this course did you find the most challenging? And don't be shy. We've been together for like 10 weeks now, going on 11. What did you find challenging? So ST theory. So from what I'm getting, okay, hold on. I see something in the main chat. Short answers. So what about, why do you think, because I was about to kind of give it away, why do you think in ST theory, we ask you to type in short answers? What do you think our mindset is? Now, I also want you to think about your role in the operating room and how much you're expected to kind of know. You got to remember that we have to know sometimes 3, 4 steps ahead of the surgeon. So, with the written answers, why do you think we challenge you guys with those short answers? Definitely short answers and going into depth of knowing the knowledge needed to be in the operating room. That's a good one. Anyone else to utilize critical thinking skills? That's correct. We want you to be. Do you think critical thinking skills are just as important as the hard skills that you're learning, that you will be learning in the lab, i.e., handling instruments, being able to properly cut suture, knowing how to set up your field sterilely? And there's no wrong answers. This is just trying to get you guys to think. Because remember, theory 1 sets you up for module 2 sets you up for module 3 sets you up for module 4, and so on. Okay. So besides the written answers, what other challenges did you find in ST200? Now, we're not talking about micro yet, just ST200. So far, the written answers. Ah, I wish the written answer questions weren't as vague as the answers need to be. Different ways to digest the huge content and make it easier to learn it. So I'm going to ask Josh first. In what aspects do you mean? Because this is really good for us to kind of go back and see what we can do to help hone in to improve the program. So the comment was, I wish the written answer questions weren't as vague as the answers need to be.
So what I mean by that is like sometimes it'll just ask like a simple question and then like you'll answer it. But then when I go back to see you
The
grade it,
feedback.
the feedback is like go more into depth. And I'm like, I don't have a problem doing that. I didn't know I was supposed to.
Gotcha. So maybe like a not a precursor, but like a more in-depth instructional as you guys answer the questions, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. And then Lilium, different ways to digest the huge content and make it easier to learn. So I'm going to ask you the same question. In what ways would that, like, see how I can ask it? In what ways would it be helpful to make the content easier for you to digest? Meaning, are you saying that maybe the chapters have so much information? Like that part, I'm trying to get it in my
Yeah.
brain cells. Okay, go ahead.
All the ways that we have to do it, like flashcards or just put everything in a chart to make the content like more. I don't want to say um a way that we can learn and we won't forget it in like 3 or 6 months maybe.
Well, and I'm
Because
glad you,
everything that we just keep it in the memory, I think just eventually will not be there.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because actually, this is one of those trust the process, and I'm so happy you brought up that portion because I know in module 2, this is like your very kind of first kind of introduction to what we really do. Once you get into module 3, we're literally building off of everything you've learned here, so it's gonna be harder to forget, I should say. The first time you guys get it, I can get it. Like it's like but once you get to module 3, trust me, trust the process we're going to be talking about stuff from micro and farm, micro in theory 2. We're going to be talking about stuff from theory 1 in micro or in farm as well as theory 2. So it does build on. And then once you get to module 4 with Mrs. Hughes, it continues to build up. So we make it to a point where it's almost, I don't want to say impossible to kind of, what do we used to say, dump it, like grab it and dump it. But we make it to a point where everything is a stepping stone. So you're not going to be able to grasp the information in mod 3 if you didn't grasp it here and you guys are already grasping it, if that makes sense. So there will be a lot of repetition of material throughout the program. Concepts, not material. So when I mean, and that's a great question, Alexandria. When I mean we build on, in ST200, we're giving you the basics, okay? For example, you're learning of an appendectomy, right? Then you get to, let's say, mod 3. And then we take that same appendectomy and then we add on what instrumentation goes with it. Then we go to mod 4 and we say we take that same appendectomy. Now you're getting the steps. So here we kind of learned, okay, these are some of the things that we do as a surgical tech. Then we get to mod 2 with the same thing that we learned what we do as a surgical tech. Now we continue these things and then we add on here and so on and so on. Does that make sense before we get into any other questions? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Does that make you feel a little bit at ease? Oh, just a tiny bit. Okay. All right. That's what we want to see and what we want to hear. And just like you guys are asking these questions, continue to ask these questions. Don't stop with ST200. Continue to ask the questions in 300 and 400. Once you're in lab, once you're with your surgeons, but you'll know which surgeons you can and cannot ask questions to. Remember what I say, because once you get there, you'll be like, aha, this is what she meant. But continue to be inquisitive. Again, we become the subject matter experts. We have to, a lot of times, be 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. And there's going to be cases where you're doing it and you're looking, you're like, oh, you already know. Now I need to backtrack and get these set of instruments together because of whatever was going up on the sterile field. Okay. Any other questions before we get into the Quizlet? And if something else comes up, you guys can text me or email me. Okay, so let's get into this review. So again, there's 173 concepts. And just like with our final, we're not necessarily knowing which questions we're going to be asked. So this is really good. Let me go ahead and share the Quizlet with you guys. For those of you who are watching, it will be in the archive section, like all the other ones, okay, for that week. So with your Kahoot, you'll also find this review. Let's get into a little bit of live. Oh no, I have to turn the music off because it kind of gets to me. I am going to try to make it anonymous. We are going to do fast. And I try to make it anonymous. I don't know if I am able to here. I just feel like when there's a little bit of, when it's anonymous, it's less pressure. Maybe that's just me. Okay, so here is the link. If you're able to join, please do. Once you have joined R6K T41, I'm also going to try to join with another tab for those of you who are watching, so you can kind of see some of the same questions that everyone else is getting. Okay, so I have 8 joined so far. 8 joined so far. I'm going to see if I can share the both screens. All right. Again, for those of you who are not able to join, on the left, you see my little avatar. You'll be able to kind of type in your answers over there, and then I will submit them. Okay. And here we go. You turn the music down a little bit. Again, this is a fast round. So in the fast round, when the answer is done, let's say you get an incorrect answer. So let's say, all right, well, let me get one answer and then go back. You'll know what I mean. Okay, let me try to get one wrong. Let me close my eyes and do it. You basically, when you get one wrong, you're not going to go all the way back. Okay. And you guys are doing extremely well. Keep it up. Looking for 3 tops. Good job, everyone. How did you feel taking that? Did that build up your confidence? I hope it built up your confidence. That was pretty awesome. All right. Again, this is just a tool to help as you gear up for this upcoming final. Okay. All right. Now, for those of you who are watching the archive, when is the last day of the module? Date and time. This is really important. What are you looking for the most over the break? And from the 11 weeks now that you've been in the program, what was the most challenging core or challenging chapter and why? Let's talk about that in the discussion forum. The quote of the week: yesterday I dared to struggle, today I dared to win. You guys, y'all have come a long way. I'm looking at y'all's grades and I'm looking at A's and B's. Okay. You guys are doing phenomenal. I want you to continue to keep that same momentum as you take that final, as you get ready to go into module 3. It's not necessarily going to get harder. It's just going to be more concepts built on what we've already learned. All right. Again, you took a chance on yourselves. And you should be looking in the mirror feeling pretty proud of what you've done. Never forget how far y'all have come, because the best is yet to come. With that, before we get out of here, I want you to, don't stress, walk into that final confident. Allot time for yourself. Do not wait to the last minute. And this is so, I cannot stress, it is so imperative that you set yourself up for success. Don't wait till like 10 o'clock on Saturday to take that final, because you just never know what could happen. Just like last week when my power was going all crazy. You don't want that to happen during such an important exam. Okay. I believe in you guys. So with that, you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I look forward to seeing everyone in ST 310. Good night, everyone.